What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Michael Knapp Fishing. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If you will, go over there, hit the subscribe button. It'll let you know when we post new, or actually you have to turn your notifications. Then it'll let you know when we post new videos, and you might have a chance to win a Tackle Warehouse gift card. We give away Tackle Warehouse gift cards from time to time. You're able to find the code. You can go buy stuff on my dime. Today we are in part 4. Yeah, whatever. It's the third rod technique minus the intro, so we're going to call it part 4, whatever. Fourth video on my winter techniques, and it is over the jig. So we're going to roll that intro, and we'll get into it, guys. All right, guys and gals. Oh, the money. I love jig fishing. Absolutely love jig fishing. I'm actually going to take my sunglasses off real quick. I wanted to make sure that you all could still see me because it's getting dark quick. Just wanted to make sure. We're going to kind of just lighten that up. Just 1, 2, 3. Ah, there we go. I bet y'all can see me a lot better now, huh? Had to adjust that because it is slowly getting darker as we keep filming. So we're going to go over the jig, when, where, why, what, how, the rod, the reel, the line. We're going to go over it all. So what jigs am I throwing? We had a little bit of a change in at the end of 2021 and now into 2022. We are throwing all kinds of jigs now. I'm throwing literally anything and everything I can get my hands on. I'm getting to try a bunch of new stuff. I want to try the best of the best out there. I want to experience everything, and I want to know when the time comes to build my own, I want to know exactly what I want in a jig. So this is the Guggenbait's thick jig. Definitely not something that I usually throw in the winter time. I was throwing this in heavy brush, so that's why this is such a heavy duty jig. But there are a lot of things that I like about the jig, the weed keeper, the hook, all that jazz. But we're not going to go over the jig itself. We do so many jig videos. It's like a spinnerbait on this channel. I love throwing a jig, but we're not going to get into like just a super amount of jigs here. The biggest thing is just make sure that this weed guard is protecting that hook so you don't get hung up. It's that simple, guys. Just make sure that's good and you're golden. As far as the when, where, why, how, all that jazz, I don't care if it is 1 inch of visibility. I don't care if it's 20 feet of visibility. I will throw a jig. 1 inch of visibility, obviously we are going to go with black and blue. I will go with black and blue or black and purple, black and red, black and yellow. All of those kind of fall into my category of black and blue. I will throw all of those. I have a bunch of different ones. From 0 visibility up to, I usually cut it off about 2 feet of visibility. I know a lot of people are gonna think that's weird, but I'll explain in just a second. After 2 feet of visibility, it is solely green pumpkin, nothing else. Green pumpkin, brown, whatever you want to call it. After 2 feet of viz, that's all it gets. 2 foot, from the 1 foot to 2 foot section, I'm intermixing black and blue and green pumpkin. I'm using them both. The green pumpkin's still going to show up really well in that low visibility water, but the black and blue shows up better, obviously, but sometimes they just have a preference. I don't know why these stupid little fish just get something in their mind every now and then, and it irritates the far out of me, but they do it. Sometimes they'll bite a green pumpkin jig in 1 foot of visibility when it should be a black and blue, and I've caught black and blue jig fish in 6 feet of visibility. I don't know why they do it, but those are kind of my parameters on colors with water visibility. That's kind of when I cut it off and start and all that jazz. What am I targeting? In the winter time, jig fishing becomes very difficult because on the TVA lakes, the winter drawdown. All of your cover that you're used to fishing is out of the water. There's no water around it. So you have to find new cover now. So I throw this around 3 things. Wood that is still in the water. I have one spot, and I'm not going to tell anybody where it is. I have one spot on Cherokee Lake that there is a 5 foot, I don't know, 4 to 5 foot Christmas tree. It's in the water. It never comes out of the water. It's that deep. But in the winter, I can always pull a 3-pounder off of it. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but it never fails. Actually, White Pine Tournament, the 2021 White Pine Tournament, first one of the year on Cherokee. I got lucky and I got this pocket all to myself. Nobody saw me in there all day long, and I knew this tree was in there. We went in there. I already had my limit. I told my dad, I said, listen, we just need to cull up. If I can cull up, we're golden. We'll cash a check. We're working our way back there. He goes, what are we doing? What are we going back here for? There's nothing back here. I said, there's one tree. There's one tree all the way in the back of this pocket. It's only about, I don't know, it's about a 50-yard troll on my trolling motor. I said, there's one tree back there. I can cull up on that tree. Pitched in there, sure enough. I culled, I don't know, about a 2-pounder with a 3.5. I don't know why there's always a fish on that. It's not a creek in the back. Usually if there's wood in the water and there's a creek in the back, absolutely. There's always gonna be a fish on it. But for whatever reason, that's the only place I can catch a fish in that whole pocket. But they're on that one tree every time. And very rarely do I catch a second one. It just so happened this one was blind when I caught it. I don't know how I caught it, but it was blind. 3.5-pounder, called out that too. We went from there. So enough story time. The other types of cover that I'm throwing to, one is wood. Second, any docks. If you have a dock that is left in the water, that means it's a floating dock, obviously. If it's left in the water, I'm gonna pitch around it. And I'm probably gonna make, I don't know, I'm probably gonna make 10 to 15 pitches to it. If it's a big dock, I may make more than that. But if it's just a basic, one slip dock, I'm making 10 or 15 casts. And a lot of them are gonna be repeated casts. And a lot of the time, I'm going to pitch it multiple times to the shallowest point on that dock. That's where you're gonna get, those black floats drawing a lot of heat. So that's why I'm gonna pitch around those a lot. The third thing that I'm going to fish a jig is nothing but chunk rock. And it has to be the right rock. I'm not gonna go down a 45-yard long stretch of rock and just pitch a jig. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna crank it instead. But if I'm going through an area and there's mud, ooh, about 5 feet of rock, mud, I'm going to pitch on that rock probably 20 times. I'm going to force them to either eat it or force me to think that I'm wrong. One or the other, that's how it goes. That's what I'm gonna do. Force the rock, so we're gonna, and make them bite it. If they're there, they're gonna bite it. There ain't no doubt about it, they're gonna bite it. So, the 3 pieces of cover that we're gonna fish: wood, docks, rock. Very specific, but I promise you, they're gonna be on there. How are we fishing it? It is a very slow, methodical, meticulous way that I fish it. I'm gonna get a lot of crap for it because I don't fish it all the way back to the boat. I am target rich when it comes to a jig in the winter time. For example, that rock bank that I just talked about, mud, rock, mud. I'm not gonna waste all the mud because I have seen largemouth and smallmouth come out of the water with mud kicked to their bellies. I will fish it, but I'm gonna fish that mud with a crankbait or a spinnerbait, and then once I get to the rock, I'll make my pitches to the rock, and then I'll put it away. I'm not gonna fish it anymore, because I know what I'm fishing for and I know what I want in that particular scenario. After that, I pitch there, I crawl it just a hair, I let it soak. That's the big thing, let it soak down there. If you're pitching to it, letting it fall, hit the bottom, hop it once and reel it in, you're not doing yourself any justice. These crawfish are going to be very, very lethargic. It's very cold. They're not going to move a whole lot. Let it soak, let it work down. Now, once you feel that you have thoroughly fished that rock, I then stop fishing it as a jig and I start fishing it as a swim bait, and I slowly reel it back. Because these legs are still gonna flap in the water and kind of give off that swim bait imitation, but I'm no longer fishing it on the bottom once I'm out of the target. As far as rod, reel, line, who can guess the line? 17-pound test, Suffolk's Advanced Fluorocarbon. Guys, it's my go-to line. I'm looking at all the other lines as I'm filming this. I can officially say that's the last time I will say that. The next 4 techniques do not use that line, so you'll be happy to know that. The rod, this is the Old 18 Suppressor. This is a 7-foot medium heavy fast. It's got some beautiful backbone to it back here, but it's got that beautiful flexing tip to really allow that hook to penetrate and work those fish out. If I am going to fish a jig in more than 10 feet of water, I will bump up to the 7'3" medium heavy fast. I've gone over it before, that's just kind of how I am. The reel, this is my baby right here. I absolutely love this reel. Let me see if I can get the focus in here. This is the 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. Lose Pro TI. Ever since I got this reel, I fell in love with it. It is my jig exclusive. I have multiple jig rods, and not a single one of them doesn't have that Lose Pro TI on it. I love the Lose Pro TI. It's light, feels nice in my hand. Love the wind grips on it. Wouldn't trade that reel for anything in the world. Absolutely love that reel. Guys, if y'all like these videos, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, leave me a comment down there in the comment section below. We're gonna continue on with the technique series for the winter time. We're gonna get out there and do some winter fishing. Hopefully by now I've posted some winter fishing videos and these snowstorms didn't mess us up. But anyway, guys, if y'all see me out on Watauga, South Holston, Cherokee, Douglas, the Honey Hole, Watts Bar, Chickamauga, wherever, Bright Blue, Falcon, come say hey, guys. Take care, everybody.